name is Kate Knight, and I am a artist, a local artist. I have a student number 65, and I'm also running MK Art Lab.
So you've decided to relocate to the Creative Quarter in Folkestone. What made you take that decision?
Well, I'll take you back to my history. I was born in Folkestone, and I studied dance at the age of 20. I then decided to give up dance as it didn't feel right, so I then had to look back at old school reports, and I wanted to see what else I was good at, because all I'd ever known was dance. And so I saw that fine art was the basis of, you know, my creativity, and I went back to that, studied to Southend College. I then progressed to Chelsea in London, and in 2005 my father died, which brought me back home to be with my family. So, and then the Creative Quarter and Creative Foundation was all go. So it seemed the right place to settle again.
What do you think of the difference between Folkestone that you knew growing up and the Folkestone that you're here now?
When I was very young and a toddler, Folkestone was buzzing, and the harbour was was the place to be, you know, and you had the fish stalls, and you know, there were lots of people. It was a tourist destination. When the ferry stopped with Thatcher, that had a massive impact with the Eurotunnel, and businesses declined. And now, for me, this is exactly what Folkestone needs. I mean, you know, the brightly coloured buildings, the injection of a fresh palette, if you like, to the actual town, and an injection of money. You know, so it's desperately needed that, absolutely. And creativity, there is an abundance of it here. So.
Do you see much of an artistic community in Folkestone?
Absolutely, yes, and it's increased ever since I've opened MK Art Lab. There's faces that I never knew, you know, who I'm being introduced to just through this small shop here.
So you think this is a way that will help other local people to explore their artistic potential?
Yeah,
they can come to your store and they can see what you've got to offer.
Absolutely, and not only that, you know, to have a studio in London and to also live in London or elsewhere is very expensive. The Creative Foundation make it very affordable for an artist to progress with their, you know, painting practice. And again, the light here, you would never get that anywhere else. It's a seaside light. It's unique to coastal towns.
What about your own work? What sort of specialist have you got?
I specialise in oil painting. I'm an abstract figurative, and I work on an oval board, which is I actually make genuine gesso panels. It's quite a specialised technique, and it's not actually available anywhere else to buy. And that's another thing we'll be sourcing for the shop. I'll be making those this week. So we'll be selling gesso panels off the peg and bespoke. Yeah, and I paint abstract figurative. So.
Thank you very much. So quite an unusual subject for art. A couple of kebabs.
Yes, yeah, and it's no reference to the work of Sarah Lucas. What it is that where I had my studio across from Tontine Street, I've now moved to here. There was the Takis kebab shop. And for me, it was reinstating this idea of this congealed meat into a mass form, which actually I thought was a rather beautiful form. And so then it was the idea of also painting, having layers built upon, you know, layer upon layer upon layer to produce this whole, which is pretty much the same thing they do with a doner kebab.
So it's very unusual inspiration there. Was there a time that actually struck you? You thought, hang on, kebabs, not just eating something, what about painting them?
Yeah, I mean, it's the colour contrast, you know, that draws me a lot. The idea of the sort of urban environment, you know, because painting is glamorised, you know, it's a glamorous subject matter, and by painting a doner kebab or on a skewer, it debases the painting. But what I wanted to achieve was not that debasement of a doner kebab. I wanted to almost show that it was quite iconic, and especially to the local area, you know, that sort of nightlife, you know, gathering, and then by the end of the night you've done your ritual rave, you then go and have a doner kebab, if that's the kind of thing you like, you know. I've done it myself before, you know, when I was younger, not anymore, a bit older, but it's a social commentary.
And what's been the reaction to this piece? Have many people seen it?
No, but it was one of the pieces that got me interviewed with the Royal Academy Schools, and also it's been entered into the John Moores, so waiting to find out about that.
And how did you get on with the Royal Academy?
I was shortlisted to 40 people who were interviewed out of 900 applicants, and it was a hugely successful interview. A bit too successful, I think, because I think they thought I was probably quite developed and that there was not much that they could do for me. And I had a lot of intrigue from the fellow students, of the Royal Academy schools who were just coming up to the works, asking me lots and lots of questions before the interview. So made me feel very good, and I was mistaken for a third year, so that kind of confirmed it for me that, you know, it wasn't really right for me to go on to the Royal Academy schools. It was just I was doing the right thing, so it's confirmation really.